Good morning, everyone. Welcome along to our first webinar of 2026 for Sage 50 accounts, and we're looking at getting started with Sage Copilot today. So Sage Copilot been around for a little while now, so some of you may well have attended a webinar previously on it, or maybe you've heard about it. Some of you probably haven't heard about it, or you've maybe heard it mentioned, but you've got no idea what it does. So we're going to give you a bit of a run through in today's session, just to give you an idea what it's all about. Right, now, I'm Michael. I'm a learning facilitator. I've been presenting webinars here at Sage for many, many years. We run loads for Sage 50 accounts, so you will be provided with some links on your follow-up email. So do check out our timetable, see if there's any that interest you. Get yourself signed up for some of those. Some of the names on my list there here today, I can see, and I recognise them from previous webinars. So do check that out. Our timetable currently runs up to the end of February, so there's loads to get stuck into if you are interested. Now, during today's session, you will be muted if you have a microphone. So nothing to worry about, I can't hear you. Does mean, however, because you can't unmute yourself either, that if you've got any questions for me today, you'll need to type them into the questions panel. To do that, you just click the little speech bubble icon on your toolbar, which should be down the right-hand side of your screen. It'll expand, and then you'll have access to that box in the bottom right-hand corner. So that's where you can type any comments or questions that you might have. So do take advantage of that one. It will be available throughout the session today. If anyone wants a copy of today's handout, so basically a copy of today's slides, those are available to download during the session as well. So again, do take that opportunity during the session if you want a copy of those. Now, the session is being recorded. There's loads we're going to work through today. So the session is being recorded. You'll be sent a link to the recording on your follow-up email. So you'll receive that around about an hour after we finish. So a link to today's recording, there'll be a link to our webinar registration page, and there'll also be a link to our recordings page as well. So not just today's recording. If you've missed any other topics, you want to play catch up, maybe you're learning a new part of the software, or maybe you've got a colleague that's brand new to Sage and they want to pick up on different areas, there's loads of recordings, so you can watch those at any time. Right, okay, let's have a look at what we're going to be covering in today's session then. So we're going to start with a bit of an introduction to Sage Copilot, just to tell you a little bit about it. I've got some demonstrations for you, so we're going to run through the key parts of Copilot and how it can help you and make things just that little bit easier. So we're looking at the Copilot Insights, Report with Copilot, the detailed analysis options, and also the payment reminders as well. Payment reminders being the most recent addition and enhancement to Sage Copilot. Now, there are obviously different versions which have links to Copilot. I'll try and point those out along the way, what you'll have access to depending on what you're using. But also we're then going to cover what's next. So going forward, what can you expect and how can you get involved with that as well? Share your thoughts and your ideas and improvements that you'd like to see to Copilot. Obviously at the end, we'll just explain more about the additional support, and if there are any outstanding questions which I haven't been able to maybe pick up during the session, sometimes I need to go away and investigate those a little bit. If that's the case, I'll just drop you an email afterwards, but otherwise I can maybe run an additional demo or answer that. I'll try and deal with it on the webinar live today. Right, now, just before we get stuck into the webinar itself, I just want to quickly cover accessing Sage Copilot. So availability wise, it's not available to everyone. So you'll need to be on Sage 50 accounts version 31.1 or above. So if you're not sure about your version, you're just within your software, you just got to help and about. So version 31.1 or above. You need to be using either the standard level or the professional level of Sage 50 accounts. So if you're using Client Manager, currently not available if you're an accountant, or if you're on the Essentials level, again, it wouldn't be available to you. Now, if you're not sure about the level of software you're on, just within your software, just top left corner on the title bar, I'll just try and quickly show you this one. I'll quickly share my screen. So just on mine here, you can see mine says Sage 50 Accounts Professional. So I would have it available, obviously, to me for the purpose of the demo. But if yours says Sage 50 Accounts Essentials, you won't have that available. It's not available on that level of the software currently. So you're either going to be on Essentials, Standard, or Professional. So that's the easiest way to tell. Just look at that title bar. You also need to be based in the UK. So if you're based in the Republic of Ireland, if we've got anyone from Ireland today, you're in the Republic, you currently won't have access to that, won't be enabled on your license. So it's very important. A lot of people will say, well, why don't I have access to that? And it's going to be one of those. So you need to be 31.1 or above, standard or professional, and be based in the UK. Now, your subscription, if you do have access to that, will include a single user license. Additional licenses can be added. Obviously, there would normally be a cost involved in that. I think that's a bit up in the air at the moment, that one, sort of charge-wise. But again, if you just get in touch, if you do need additional licenses added, and they can advise you on the cost of that. So single user license initially, that's something to be aware of. It'll be allocated to the manager user as well. Now, as far as enabling it is concerned, we've got a great area of our help center. Now, I'm not going to go through the process of actually enabling it today because it's just a bit of an admin task, to be quite honest. You'll click a link and if you're connected to a Sage account, it's going to be very, very quick. You just say, right, I want to enable Copilot. If not, you'll be guided through that process. So you'll click one of the links in your software and I'll say, right, well, to use this, you need to activate Copilot and you'll need to link a Sage account to your account software. So nice and easy to do. But there's loads of information on our help center. So just head along to sage.co.uk/help. There's specifically a little a panel for Sage Copilot. Now, I think that's just moved in the last month on that screen. So again, let me share my screen. I'll just bring up my web browser. And as I say, we'll just head along to sage.co.uk/help. This will be the page that it takes you to. So just scroll down, choose your software, so Sage 50 Accounts Desktop. Just get rid of that one as well, a message that pops up. And if I just scroll down, Copilot's now just in this position here. So you just give it a click, and then you've got various options that you can click into. So introduction to Copilot. There's also the option to activate it. So that would guide you through that process of getting it set up in your software. So if you haven't yet used it and you think, well, I'll give it a go. So obviously it's included as part of your subscription access to Copilot. Remember, you get that single user license initially. So if you want to give it a go, you can go down that route. Now, one thing to be aware of as well, and I'll show you this one now before I start going back and running other demos. If you are on version 33 of Sage 50 Accounts, if you haven't yet activated Copilot, now mine does say it on this bar here, Sage Copilot active. So I'll go into a company where I haven't activated Copilot yet. So we'll just pop into that one. Just log in. And what you should get on version 33, and this is a brand new enhancement to version 33, is you get this opportunity to try Copilot. So when you log in as manager, you'll receive this prompt, and all you will do is you will click Try Sage Copilot. Now again, if you already have a Sage account linked to your account software, you just need to log in. So just follow this through. If you don't have a Sage account currently linked, you'll be prompted and you can set that up at this stage. But it means you can try Copilot for the duration of you being logged into the software. You can see what it's all about. so you can give it a go. But you need to be on version 33 for that one. Again, if you went back to our help center, see if I've still got that page. If I go back to the initial page that you land on when you choose Sage 50 accounts, just follow this link here, install your software. So that would give you access, got a bit too far there, to download and install version 33. So not a lot has changed this time around in version 33, which we've obviously seen on some of the recent upgrades as well as quite a bit of behind the scenes work. But still some enhancements. We're running webinars on that as well if you are interested in finding out more about version 33 and what it has to offer. Right, so let's head back to the slides for the time being. We'll start running through and talking about more about Copilot itself. Now, when Copilot was first released in version 31.1, it was all about Copilot Insights. Now, the idea of Copilot Insights is that they're going to provide you sort of top-level information when you're working in your accounts. So if you've used the sort of the help option that opens down the side of your screen, so when you're working in your software, you press F1, brings up the sort of the help panel down the right-hand side. You've got a similar option for Sage Copilot. Now, your Sage Copilot or the Copilot Insights are going to be available in 5 different ledgers. There's the customers ledger, suppliers, products and services, nominal codes, and also transactions. And you will either have, depending on your version, it will either say Sage Copilot at the top, or it will say Copilot Insights on your toolbar at the top, depending which ledger you're in. So if you're in customers, on the end of your toolbar, you will have either Copilot Insights or Sage Copilot. And as I say, you've got 5 ledgers where that's available. Now, the Copilot Insights, they concentrate on specific themes. So things like debt management, inventory management, business performance, anomaly detection, which always goes down really well. Anything that can help you spot mistakes in your processing within your software, great. I'll sort of highlight that one in a bit more detail in a few minutes. And also, as you'd expect, reporting analysis. So these insights, they provide sort of top level information. And if you want it, you can drill down to the detailed level if you want. So you could go from sort of a top level sales figure, for instance, down to, you know, individual transactional level if needed. But you don't need to go then hunting for that information. It's provided for you in a nice, easy to use format. So think of Sage Copilot as almost like a digital assistant. You're in control of that. You hear a lot of the mention of AI and almost trying to automate things. We've got that for some, but you're still in control. You choose which bits are automated. It's not just going to take over your accounts and run your business for you at this stage. How far off that is, you never know. So anyway, we've got these key themes, which is what people have always said, our customers have always said, right? This is what's important. This is what we need help with. We need a bit easier to report on certain things and spot mistakes. So let's have a look at some of those. I've got a few more slides first of all, just to tell you a little bit more about them. I've got a little video which I'll play as well. We can see it live in the software when I run through a bit of a demo. So debt management, that theme, you'll see it's sort of within the sort of the customers ledger. So when you access Copilot via the customers ledger, it will bring up a panel down the side of your screen, and you're going to see things like overdue sales invoices. You've got other options in there now, the automated payment reminders if you're on version 33. But this is a screenshot of what you would have if you're on version 31.1. So it means you can easily access a summary of what's overdue. It'll give you an idea of what's due within the next 7 days. But again, you'll be able to drill down to individual transactions if needed. The ability when you're in there as well to send statements out and add reminders to your Sage 50 accounts diary. Inventory management. So have you record stock levels in your software? It's all about staying on top of that. So it'll highlight items that are out of stock, items that are low on stock, items that are likely to be out of stock within the next 30 days. So to look at your average daily sales and say, right, well, this is how many you sell in a particular or on an average day, right? In the next 30 days, do we have enough in stock to support that? So it's all about providing you with the opportunity and information to stay ahead of the, I suppose, the issue where you may not have enough stock. And the more you use this, the more it's going to be that where you're going to be looking at more items that are low on stock or likely to be out of stock soon, rather than items that are being reactive when items are now out of stock. So access these Copilot insights regularly and you'll stay ahead of that curve. If you're on the professional level as well, any items that you do need to reorder or want to reorder that have been identified, you'll be able to seamlessly create a purchase order. Otherwise, it might just be a case you say, right, well, actually, I'm going to send that list, I'm going to print it out, send it to Excel, and I'll take it from there manually. Business performance, again, common theme on the reporting of how your business is getting on. So again, the idea of this is going to save you running reports. So it's going to provide you with information within nominal codes, customers, suppliers, enabling you to view sort of month-on-month profits, year-on-year comparisons. Again, you'll be able to drill down to see the breakdown should you want it. So if something does look a bit odd, then you've got that capability. And yes, you can run reports in your software. You've already got reports. You've got profit and loss reports and other expenditure reports as well that you could run just as easily. But the idea with the insights, you just click it, it provides you with this top level information. Anomaly detection, you'll find out within the transactions ledger. Anything to do with spotting mistakes, I mentioned this one earlier, it always goes down really well. We always get really positive feedback on this one. It's similar in a way to if anyone goes as far back as that, when we changed the VAT return wizard. So the VAT return wizard these days has 3 key tabs at the top. So key steps to try and guide you through that. And in there is some VAT verification checks. If you do the VAT return, you're probably aware of these ones, and it will try and spot processing errors for you. So things that you might have missed or done an error or duplicated. And that's what the anomaly detection within the transactions area will do for you. It'll try and spot transactions that have unexpected nominal codes or a certain transaction type that it's a bit unusual for you to use a specific tax code or maybe an amount that sticks out like a sore thumb as being unusual, unexpected VAT amount. Have you typed in the VAT amount in or a value into the VAT column in error and you meant to key that into the next column? It will spot that type of thing and it'll be based around your history. So the more activity you have in there, the more it's got to compare your current transactions against. So it'll try and identify that for you, allowing it to check it, get it corrected if necessary. Now it might just be a one-off. So you might just think, actually, I just want to ignore that. That's not a problem. It's a one-off. We bought some, we've had a major capital expense. So therefore, it's just unusual because you don't do many of those. But it'll try and identify that type of thing for you so you can easily correct it if necessary. Now we've got a little video on this one. I'm going to quickly play that for you. Lasts a couple of minutes. I'm not going to bore you with little videos for all of these sections, so we'll just do the one on anomaly detection. It'll break up the demonstration a little bit as well. So I'll set that going, and then I'll come back to you live in just a couple of minutes' time.
The Copilot Insight for Anomaly Detection is all about helping you to improve and maintain the accuracy of your data. We all know it's easy to make a mistake, such as specifying the wrong tax code for a transaction, so anything that helps has got to be positive. The insight helps to identify potential issues, and to keep things simple and streamlined, enables you to easily edit the transaction and make corrections there and then. The Copilot Insight is accessed from the transactions ledger. Insights are grouped into nominal codes, tax codes, and amounts. Check tax codes shows the number of transactions where the tax codes are different to the usual ones that have been used on the account in the past. Clicking transactions with unexpected tax codes lists the relevant transactions. If you're working in a specific period, you can easily narrow down the date range by applying a filter rather than working on the default group covering the last 12 months. You can even apply a filter so only specific transaction types appear. You can search within the results and also have the flexibility of exporting the list, for example, if you prefer working in Excel. Each transaction shows the current details and the suggested correction. For added flexibility and speed, you can then action changes there and then. Edit brings up the familiar Edit Transaction window, so if required, you can make the correction there and then. If you've already corrected it outside of the Copilot Insight, simply flag it. Then finally, when a correction isn't required, for example, you've posted a transaction which is a one-off and it's picked up as an anomaly, you can flag to ignore it. As transactions are flagged, they'll be moved to the appropriate tab. If you're a bit too quick and accidentally ignore a transaction, then don't worry, this can easily be undone. The main list can also easily be refreshed at any time, meaning you can quickly ensure you're up to date if other users are currently processing before you close out.
Right, I found the right button now, so I'm back live with you. Couldn't find it for a moment there. That's what doing a few days off over Christmas does for you. Right, so what we're going to do, we'll move on to the very final sort of Copilot insight that I'm going to quickly mention, and it's reporting analysis. As you'd expect, there's loads of reporting information available within the Copilot insights. We're going to touch on some of the other areas as well. That's where Copilot's has seen some improvements with the more up-to-date versions. So we'll run through those as well in just a moment. But the final one was just to quickly mention reporting analysis, which you'll find from a number of different areas. But when you're looking at the company as a whole, you're going to access the Copilot Insight via nominal codes for this one. So it's all about things like profit and loss information, balance sheet information as well these days. So you've got more information on that one on higher versions. And again, you'll be able to either run reports. In this case, on the screenshot, you just literally click begin analysis. It's going to prompt you for date ranges, things like that. And it's going to mean that you can get out that information very, very quickly. But you'll see more of that one as we go through some of the live demos in just a moment. Right, so let's have a quick look at some of those options that we've literally just covered there in the Copilot Insights, just so again you get the look and feel of that within the software itself. So what I was talking about is if we went into customers as an example, on your toolbar, and some of you, it may be called Copilot Insights if you're on one of the earlier versions where Copilot's available. If you're on version 33 or 32.1, you'll find this is called just Sage Copilot at the top. You give it a click, it'll open your panel for you, and then just process, and then it will load the relevant information for you. Now, a bit of scrolling involved on mine because I've got my resolution set really low on my laptop today just to make things a little bit bigger for you so you can see them a little clearer. So we got, in this case, on the customer side, we got the business performance element. So we can click down and view the sales breakdown, view expenditure breakdown if we want it. You can see it does month-on-month comparisons. You've got your debt summary. We're going to be looking at this in a bit more detail a bit later on. And again, you've got that sales ledger turnover, Obviously, suppliers wise, you would have purchase ledger turnover, and if you access your insight via the nominal ledger, you're going to have it where it's going to be looking at the P&L report itself. So those are where you're going to find the Copilot insight. So customers, you've got your icon on the end. Suppliers, again, you've got the icon, last option on your toolbar at the top there. You've got it within nominal codes. Again, it's at the top here. It's within transactions. So that's where you would find your anomaly detection. So just give it a click. It'll load it. It's going to obviously process, look at my data, and it's, in my case, it's identified quite a bit from the information I've got entered. So loads of unusual stuff on mine with it just being sort of dummy data, but based on my historic information, it's saying, right, 79 of these transactions use nominal codes that are different from usual. So again, if I wanted to explore that, I could just click it. It'll load a panel and it'll give me access to those transactions. So it'll just be a case of me essentially checking through that. And you've got your tabs as well. So I can review it. I can see the ones that have been corrected while I'm in here or ignored. And you've got your actions here. So this first one, I can click the link. It'll show me the detail of the transaction. Obviously, I can make changes there and then. And once I've made the changes, if necessary, I can just come to actions and say, right, I want to edit it. Actually, I'll mark that one as corrected now. I'll fix that if needed. Or actually, it is a valid transaction. It's got the valid nominal code in there. I'm just going to ignore it. So nice and easy to access all of that information. Just a case of working through that. And as I say, when you start using it, access it regularly and you'll be a bit more proactive in finding that and find them a bit quicker as well. I'm sure everyone's been in a position you've run your monthly reports or whatever, and then you think, oh, I've just spotted a mistake. But actually, I've submitted a P&L to my colleague or a director or the owner of the business, or we've shared that with a bank manager, or along those lines. So check that regularly if you get a chance. Right, let's head back to the slides for a moment. Oh, sorry, the last one to quickly tell you, it was just within the products and services area. So that's where you're going to find your sort of stock management one. So we'll just give it a quick click. Again, it'll process, as you say, it's fairly quick. And it's telling me I've got 13 items out of stock, 20 which are low on stock, and 2 items that are likely to be out of stock in the next 30 days. And I'll just click the appropriate link to get at that information. Right, okay, let's head back to the slides for a moment. Now, what we've seen so far on the insights and what we talked about, that's what's available if you're on version 31.1. Version 32 introduced a couple of new enhancements. The major one was Report with Copilot. Now, Report with Copilot was introduced and developed for Copilot in response to the number of questions that we get and number of requests that we get about, I need a report that shows this. And the vast majority of reports that we get asked for are based around the transactions list, what you would term your audit trail. So when you go into transactions and it lists all of your bank payments and receipts and your invoices and your credits and your journals. So that list, a lot of the queries that we get are asked about is just based around that list. I just want a list of bank payments, or I want a list of invoices, or along those lines. So this is what Copilot tries to support you with. Now you can access Report with Copilot. You need to be on version 32, sorry, to access this. And you would access it from within any report, any ledger that has a reporting ledger. So when you go into customers, you will click reports, and on that reporting toolbar, which shows you a list of reports on the toolbar at the top, you'll have the Sage Copilot option or Report with Copilot if you're on a slightly older version. And the idea of this is that you will pop a request in there. So in the message box, you will just start typing in there, what is it you're after? You then click send, it'll go away and think, right, have I got enough information for what you've typed in there? to understand what report I need to generate. If not, it will come back and ask you, right, can you just confirm this? Can you expand on that a bit more? Provide a bit more detail. What you've asked for, is it the current month? Is it the previous month? Is it the current financial year? Is it the current calendar year? So that type of thing, you'll be able to amend your message or your query. Just click send when you're done, and basically you'll get to that point where you think, well, right, you just need to confirm. Right, generate that report for me. Now, it doesn't generate the report itself. What it does, it generates the design of the report for you. It creates that report. So no going into Report Designer to have to create that yourself. It will design the report for you, which you can then run. It'll save it as a standard Sage report for you, and you can run that. You can amend it if required. So if you are feeling a little bit brave, or maybe you've already developed your knowledge on the report designer, you wanting to, you can get into Report Designer and amend that report if required. But the initial designing of the report is done for you. So let's have a go of it if you've not already. Right, so what I'll do is we'll run through a quick example. I'll just go back to my screen, and it doesn't matter which area you access this from. It's always going to look back at your transactions. So this list here, so where it lists all of your transactions from your what you used to term your audit trail. You still see it referred to that at the top there on the icon. So I think it's just the historical description of your list of transactions as your audit trail. So your transactions list, that's what it's based around. So if I went into customers as an example, I've got a reporting ledger in here. So I'll click reports. And on the reporting toolbar at the top, it says Sage Copilot. Again, if you're older version, it may say report with Copilot. So just give that a click. It'll open a panel similar to what we've looked at previously. And this is where you can type in your message. Now, what I'm going to do is I've just got some text. I'm not very quick at typing, so I'm just going to copy some text and I'm going to paste it into this box. Obviously, I could just type in otherwise. So I'm looking for, I wanted to show sales invoices from 2025. I would like them to be grouped together by customer. So I don't want just a list. I want to say, right, can you list all of the invoices from that year by customer? So group them together. And also, in this case, we apply a filter as well. So we just want to see where the gross amount is over £500. And also, I would want it sorted by gross amount in descending order. So we'll pop that in. Probably take me about 5 minutes to type that text in with my typing speed. So I just click send to submit that. It'll do a bit of processing. Does it understand my query from one I've typed? So it's come back saying, would you like to see sales invoices specifically for, in this case, the SI type or all transactions types? I'll do SI only. So again, have a go of this. The more you play with it, the more you'll understand it. Try and get what you're after. So I'll say SI only. I'll ignore question 2. Just click send. Again, it'll go away and process. And again, it's come back. So when you say group by customer, would you like to see the total gross? Have I typed that right? Yeah, that's quite good. So we'll click send. Still asking me questions. So, and again, it's just the more you use it, the more it's going to go through that. Right, let's include VAT. All columns. Obviously, the more specific you can be up front, the better. Right, I'll store that one again because I thought that was taking far too long there, so it hasn't gone through my queries today. So let's put a simpler one in there. Do that one again. See if I can type it in this time. All transactions from 2025 not using a T1 tax code. So again, asking me the questions. So again, it's obviously asking me for more information. And then I'm at that point. So I've now got a summary. So hurrah. So I'll just type confirm. Say yes, that's what I'm after. So we'll send it away. It starts processing again. I'll just type confirm. See if it does it this time. You'll probably find when you use it, I will ignore that. So it's obviously getting upset this morning based on my previous searches. So that will generate a report for you. Now I'll show you what that would look like when it's done. Now it will save it automatically. If I just go into transactions and reports, and I go into my transaction reports, and I've got some previous ones that I've designed via report with Copilot. So all it was going to ask you for is to pop in a name for that report. So it'll save it for you. And again, it'll run it for you there and then. And if you need it, you can always go back to run that report again in the future. So let's just run that one, see what it comes up with. You can see the type of report it's going to come out with. So in this case, it's looking for, I think it was invoices over £500. It's grouped them by customer. Makes that nice and easy. But you can do that you can run as many queries to design reports as you want. There's no restriction on that one. Right, let's quickly pop back to the slides. Try and show you what else is available. So next one, detailed analysis. Now this was in response to when version 31.1 first went out, Copilot was made available. People just say, well, actually we want more analysis of the profit and loss in the balance sheet. That was based around feedback. So we did that. So you need to be on version 32 to have the additional nominal codes Copilot Insight. So you get much more a detailed analysis of your profit and loss in your balance sheet. But that's not just based around figures. You'll get more of a sort of that information is going to be provided in an easy to read format. So rather than just tell you about it, I'll give you a quick demonstration of this one. So let's get back to my screen. We'll go into nominal codes and access Sage Copilot. Just give that a chance to refresh. So this is the bit that you would have seen initially. So this is what you would have the top bit if you were in version 31.1. If you're on version 32, you'll have these additional options as well. So if I just click Analyze Profit and Loss, and choose my period, let's run it up to end of December 2025. So just in extracting the data, it's going to analyze it. And then you're going to get this more, what I would term a commentary style analysis. It's telling me this is the chart of accounts that was used. This is the period that you've run it for. So this is what it's identified for using that chart of accounts, and for the period you've specified. These are the strengths. So it's saying high return on sales and giving rid of commentary. So it's not just saying return on sales is 38%. It's giving you more of a, this is the strength based on the analysis that we've completed. Possibly this is the weakness. Conclusion about it as well. So it makes it easy to get at that. Hopefully that's in an easy to read format for you as well. Right, now the last bit I wanted to really cover today, demo-wise, is 32.1, the features that were introduced. So report with Copilot we've already had a look at. So 32.1, it introduced the sort of the ability to group your transactions together. 32.0, it will list your transactions, but they will just be in a list of transactions. So report with Copilot was enhanced, so you could say, right, I want you to group those by customers or by suppliers or by nominal code or by bank account. It will let you do that. But also in there, and this is one of the first automation options that's been introduced, it's payment reminder automation. Now you can do this manually, but you do have the option to automate it as well. So one of the big tasks you find with any accounting sort of process is managing your debt, chasing your customers for payment. So this is where this payment reminder automation comes in and improves your debt management process, helps hopefully relieve some of that burden, that admin process. Now you can still do it manually, but you can automate that task. So let's have a bit look at that in Copilot. So I'll go back to my screen, we'll pop into customers and we'll just pop into Sage Copilot. So if you're on 32.1 or 33, you'll have this debt management option available from within the insight. When you click that, it's going to bring up this sort of help screen. Now you can get rid of that. I always think if you leave those switched on, after a while you think, oh, this is quite cumbersome. These messages popping up all the time, getting in the way. So remember, you've got the option to hide that if you want to. I never do that just so you can see it. So continue to debt management. Now what we've got here is we've got two tabs, overdue and upcoming. So nothing there at the moment. Now if I just quickly close back out, I wanted to show you this and how quick it can be. If we go back to invoices and credits, and I've got an invoice on the end, where was it? Okay, I'll quickly pop one in. We'll do A1 Design Services, and I'll just use one of these. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to date it. I'll do it the 1st, and I'm going to change the due date. We'll see that's on the 11th. Bearing in mind what on there, it's the 8th now. So we'll just do that one invoice. I'm going to save it. Again, I'm getting a message there just because I'm past the sort of year-end date on this set of data now. Let's pause that message, get rid of it. Right, so where's that invoice I've just entered? So here it is on the end. Now, for that to be pulled through to the debt management area within the insight, I need to make sure it's been updated to the ledgers. If it's just on my invoice list, I haven't committed it to my accounts yet. So I need to make sure it's been updated to the ledgers. So that should now be done. And in the posted column, that invoice now shows with a yes in there. So if we now go back to customers, and we'll go into Sage Copilot. And it's telling me here straight away, I've now got one invoice, which is due in the next 7 days, and it's worth showing me the value. Obviously, if you've got loads of those, it will just give you the total. So it's looking at the next 7 days, what's due. Now we're going to debt management. Continue. And again, I've got the tab. So if you've got anything overdue, that'll be identified for you. I've got one that's upcoming. And what it's saying, obviously, if you've got loads, they'll just be listed. But I've got the transaction number. I can see which account it's linked to. I can see the invoice number in the reference column. I've got a chase history, which I haven't done anything with that one yet because I've literally just updated it. And I've got an actions option as well. So, right, got this transaction. It's 1242. It's invoice 86, right? It's saying it's going to be due within the next. So in this case, it's saying it's 3 days until this one is due. So what do you want to do with it? I think, right, well, actually, what I want to do is I want to send them a reminder. I'm going to do it before it becomes overdue. So I click the option. Now this is doing it manually. And when you click that option, a lot of the setup was already done for you. So it's going to pull through the email address from the customer record. The subject line on that email is going to say invoice. It'll pull through the invoice number. It's due on, pull through the due date from that invoice. And this is the message here. Now you can click into that message if you want and start amending it. If you want to change the wording of it, you can do that. If you want to add additional information in, you can do that. It just depends. And obviously you can change that wording. If you want a much, you can change it. You might just want a short one, short email, shorter than this one. I'll just click draft with Copilot. It'll sort of reset that for me. Or a little bit shorter. Obviously you can choose the length as well. But again, you might just want to add that in manually. And then all you would do is, if I'm happy with that, I'll click send. Now what that will do is it will essentially attach a copy of that invoice to an email for me. And it's telling me the email has been sent successfully. And if I go into the chase history, I'll have an entry on there now. So I can see this. The due reminder was sent on the 8th of January 2026 at 11:47. I've got that. That's that one done. Obviously, you could do them in a batch. If there was loads of them, you would just go down and select them and say, right, I now want to send those out. So it'll just attach a copy of the email. Let's see if I can open my Outlook. It should be in there. Where's my Outlook gone? But I'll come back to that one once Outlook's opened. So I haven't bothered opening on my laptop this morning. So it will generate that email for you. Now, depending on your settings, it might save it as a draft. It might send it automatically. If you've ever emailed documents before, hopefully you're familiar with that. Now that's dealing with it manually, but you've got this option here as well, manage automated reminders. Now this is similar in a way, but it lists the 4 sort of stages, as it were. So you've got upcoming, so invoices that are going to be due within the next 7 days. You've got an overdue option. Now I can change the criteria for this as well. You might want to do that depending on your credit terms. So your credit terms might be a lot different to what the defaults are. So you can enable this option. And what you do is you just say, right, the upcoming email, so the reminder I've just sent manually, rather than me do that and come in each however often and say, right, well, these are now due in the next 3 days. What I want to do is I want to send that an email, that one an email, that one. I can just set it so it does it automatically. So I would take the option to say, right, I want you to send that on schedule. I can customize the template for that one. Again, I can change the details. With this one as well, when it's automated, you can change the criteria as well. So you can say, right, well, rather than being 7 days before, you might just think, well, actually, I want to send that, say, 2 days before it's due, just to give them a little warning. So you're not prompting them too far in advance. You can set criteria, so maybe you want to ignore invoices below a certain value. You might think, well, actually there was just a rounding issue and there's some odd pence outstanding on a certain invoice, so actually we don't want to send an email for that one. And you can also choose to change the status as well. So if a reminder has been sent, you might think, well, actually I want to change the account to say, right, I want to put it, sort of close the account or plug it as bad debt, or you've got various options for that one. You might choose to do nothing. Various statuses that you can. It'll just pull that through from your software if you need to change the status. I think there's a recorded webinar on setting the status and how you can deal with that as well. So you can have it do that automatically. So any sort of invoices that become or about to become due, in this case in the next 7 days, it'll automatically send out this email. And again, you can change the wording of this one. And then other than that, you would just click save and close, and that will be it done. Now you've got 4 options. So it's almost like if you've ever used the letters option within Sage, almost like the severity, maybe change the wording. So right, you'd have an email that says, right, this is now due in the next few days. You've got one that says, right, this is now overdue. You need to make an immediate payment. If it's still not paid, you can send an additional email, final warning, and then maybe the threat of legal action. So it's almost like the severity of that as it progresses through that sort of credit control cycle. So you can choose which ones you want to use. You can change the wording. Again, you can customize the template you can get in there. You can change the criteria as well. If you might want to change it, that says, well, I don't want to wait 7 days till it's it's been overdue. I want to send it straight away. So again, you can choose your criteria. And then that will be handled automatically for you. Now, when you use the automated payment reminders, even if you've got Outlook installed locally, you will need to use SMTP settings so that you can integrate with that. And that's because this is going to be essentially going to be using your data service, which is potentially could be held on a server or a PC that you're not working from. So it doesn't necessarily have access to your Outlook. So it needs to do that via SMTP settings. Now, if you're not sure about SMTP settings, loads of information in our help center on that one as well. So it doesn't just work with Outlook. If you work with Gmail or Hotmail or Windows Mail or whatever it is, if you use a web mail service, it can integrate with that as well. But essentially, once that's set up, that's it done. It'll start firing out those emails automatically for you, meaning that, again, less admin that you have to deal with. The one thing I would say in this area, one thing to be aware of is when you go in this area, the schedule settings. By default, I think I've changed this as well. It's going to do it, normally it's going to do it at midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning. I think I changed it this one last time I used it, so it's still got that setting in there. I think by default it's set to something like it sends it at 1 o'clock in the morning. So as soon as it hits that, it'll send out it'll generate the emails and off they go. That's something to be aware of. Some people don't like things like that to be sent at that time. They want it to be sort of, hit them at a certain time of day, maybe first thing in the morning, but not 1 o'clock in the morning. But again, that's up to you. But you've got that setting, so do be aware of that one. Now, other than that, that's Copilot in a nutshell. So the idea is, again, almost like what you keep terming your digital assistant. So you've seen what's available currently so far, but how can you get involved and what's next? Well, we always say, have your say, get involved. On quite a few of our webinars, when we think, well, people are probably going to have loads of ideas about this, how it could be improved, what they'd like to see it do. So get involved, have your say. You can access the ideas portal. Easiest way to access that, I have provided the link on the slide, but easiest way to access that, I'll just go back to my screen, is within your software. If you go to the home page, and this isn't just for Copilot, it's just for anything to do with your software. If you go to the home page, which is this link on at the top left, give that a click and then just scroll down, you'll find this option for the roadmap. So if we give that a click, and this is where you'll find out information about versions and what features were included with what version, what we're working on going forward. But if you just scroll down a little bit, you've got your option to have your say. So you click the link and that will take you to our ideas board. So you'll see there's loads on here, loads of suggestions. Just in case if you've got a new idea, you can add it in there. You can vote on them as well, the ones that are there. The more votes that these options get, the more likely they are to be included. So this one here, for instance, someone said, right, well, in this case, it's from quite a while ago, this one now, we're thinking of going paperless in April. I want to be able to attach a sales invoice, etc., to the transaction. It's got loads of votes on it. That's now available in the software. You can add attachments to just about any transaction type in your software. So if you want to add your own, you want to just have a browse through, see what's there, do have a look at that. So again, just to access that, I'll show you again how you would access that. Just homepage, scroll down, click roadmap, and scroll down to the have your say. So click the link and you'll have access to that page then. So have a look through, see if there's anything you want to add your weight to, your comments to. You can vote for them, or if you've got any ideas or thoughts yourself. And it can be something really small. It might just be, right, I need more characters for my account reference, for instance. We've had loads of those in the past, which we've reacted to. You'll notice in your software, you might be aware of things like you can record up to, I think it's 6 email addresses. You've got 6 analysis fields where people have said, well, actually 3 just isn't enough for me. I need more. I use different email addresses for different purposes when I'm getting in touch with the customer. I need to record those. So again, because they've been added to our ideas board, people have voted on them to say, yeah, we'd like that as well. They've been included. So do get involved. Don't just sit there and sort of bottle that up. Let us know. What do you want to see next? Right, now, if you've got any questions, if you want to quickly pop those in there. You've got that opportunity to do that. If not, if you think of anything afterwards, do get in touch. You can reply to any of the webinar emails that will come direct to our mailbox, and we'll be able to pick those up for you. So if you go away and you watch the recording again, or you maybe start using it and you want to find out more and you've got any questions, do get in touch. But while I'm waiting for see if any questions do come through, I'll quickly thank you for attending. There'll be a little survey pop up as you leave today's session. If you could take a minute to complete, that'd be greatly appreciated. Appreciate probably everyone wants to run away and get some lunch, but if you could take that minute to complete that survey, it'd be greatly appreciated. And your follow-up email, which will include a link to today's recording. It will include a link to our registration page. So if you want to learn more about your software, see what's available, get yourself registered. They're all free to attend. Or if you'd rather watch recordings, there'll be a link to that as well. Right, I don't have any questions, so I'll give you a minute back of the proposed end time. We'll end the webinar just at that point. Many thanks for coming along. I hope you've enjoyed it, giving you a bit of an insight into Copilot. Remember, if you're on version 33, if you haven't yet tried Copilot, you will be prompted when you go into the software. If you aren't on version 33, but you'd like to try it before just going live with it, then get onto version 33. The link is in the Help Center to download and install that. So many thanks for coming along, but we'll end the webinar just at that point, and hopefully I'll see you on some other webinars very, very soon. Many thanks.